Before we get this episode started, I just wanted to give a big shout out to Joe Dombrowski, Mr. D, as some of you guys may know him. He has on September 13th a live stream comedy event coming up. So there's going to be obviously comedy itself, live comedy, sketches, a game show portion with prizes. And I can already tell it's going to be amazing. It's going to be hilarious. If you've seen or followed Mr. D and his content, it never disappoints. So check it out. Tickets are available at mrdtimes3.com. That is MRDTIMES, the number 3.com for your tickets. There are tickets to the show itself, as well as VIP tickets, which get you a whole bunch of one-on-one virtual experience stuff. You can get a meet and greet with Joe himself, as well as a whole bunch of other stuff. So again, this is mrdtimes3.com for the Back to School live stream comedy event. How many beers in are you in right now?
I think this is my second.
Okay, not bad. It's not bad at all. Usually we do like 3 or 4. I do have a new rule. I have this bottle of, what beers are you drinking right now, by the way? Forgot to ask.
Yeah, sure. At the moment I'm drinking Budweiser. If you want me to switch to something more exotic, I can do that. I'm not, in downstairs, I could run downstairs and grab my Maker's Mark. Just have whiskey.
No, you're good, you're good. Hey, we need something to counteract it. So right now, because for those of you listening, this is the first time that I have done Moscato, because Katie opened something thinking it was something else, and so this was just sitting there, and so rather than have it go bad, I was like, I'll drink it. So I have a new thing, Adam, where it's a 2-drink minimum for episodes, and it's usually starting by a stupid decision where I'll do like a shot, and then I'll make a double. That way it's like, if I'm sipping the second one, by about the 10-minute mark of the episode, I'm at the 2-drink minimum. That's kind of how I've been playing it. But yeah, so you got Budweiser. We're good with that. I've got a Moscato. This is an interesting combination between the two.
Sure.
If you are,
We're not mixing them together.
yeah, we can make a nice little mixture there. Kind of water it down so it's not as sweet. But for anyone that's listening that's new to the podcast, Classroom Brew is a lot like Teacher Happy Hour. I mean, clearly we're talking about drinks in podcast form, where we kind of poke fun at stuff happening in education, not just like news and stuff like that, but on the ground stuff, because we don't always want to talk about how shitty Betsy DeVos is. Sometimes, but not always. And for this episode, we actually have, is this your third or second time on the podcast, Adam?
Who remembers? I don't listen to them anyway, so.
I mean, as someone that edits periodically my own episodes, it's tough to hear yourself as you edit. I'm not going to lie, but.
Also, if we're going to be talking about time in this time of crisis, everything is just sort of a gray blur. So we could have done an episode last week, and I probably wouldn't fucking remember.
I mean, you could always start your own podcast at this point. Then you can do it whenever and it won't matter, and you release them whenever you want, anything like that.
Yeah, unlike you, I'm not that obsessed with the sound of my own voice.
Hey, man, I got people buying it for voiceover, so I guess that's a thing. I personally don't understand why anyone would pay me to do voiceover for their company, because I'm so used to my voice, but...
That makes 2 of us.
Nice. I saw too, by the way, Steve-O, like the Jackass guy?
Yeah.
He has a podcast. Like, what the fuck's he going to talk about? Like, what's he going to do? Like, I just did a stunt. You guys can't see it because it's audio only, but trust me, it was stupid. Like, what's he going to talk about?
Is this your Jerry Seinfeld moment?
No, God, no.
Deal with the Steve-O's podcast.
I could do it.
What's he going to talk about?
Wow. Yeah, we'll go with that. Why does Steve have a podcast? He wants me on it. Was that good or was that shitty? I feel like that was pretty damn good.
I honestly think it's both.
That's a fair assessment.
It's so shitty that it's good.
Fair assessment.
God, we are all, by the way, fucking loony right now. I can't believe that you're podcasting during like the week before we go back to school.
Hell yeah!
It's
we haven't missed a week, man. We've been chugging through. We've even done bonus episodes during this time because there's a little extra time on my hands. Like,
you're bored.
Yes, 100%. I'm bored at this point. Now, granted, does that mean I want to go back right now? No, of course not. But that's where we're at right now. But we usually do this at the end of the year, though. This is kind of this would have been your third EOY, I guess we could call it, podcast. But now I guess it's become our beginning of year. Do you have anything I feel like you always wanted to boast about like, all my stuff is digital and everything's digital and I don't need paper. And do you need paper? I don't use paper. Are you gonna
I
like,
don't
what's gonna happen
know.
this year? Like, what's your master plan for the beginning of the year, knowing that you're already a pretty digital guy?
Well, first of all, thank you. I really appreciate you assuming that I have some sort of master plan and have not just been drinking 24 beers a day since we went to remote learning. Yes, I have very little difficulty with the digital end of things. We use a lot of digital stuff, especially in writing in science. The problem is we also like my classroom. You've seen my classroom. Everything is all ultra collaborative and like project based.
Mm-hmm.
So now that we're transitioning away from a group lab setting and into a purely remote one, it was easier at the end of last year because the last unit that I generally teach is like the astronomy unit. And with the astronomy unit, you don't necessarily need to have these big collaborative labs.
Sure.
It's more of a wondering at space sort of thing. It's more research based than anything. That was easier. But now we're coming into the fall when we generally talk about kinematics and things moving. And though you can see that sort of stuff out in the world everywhere, one thing that you can't do is work with a partner sitting at a table, dropping balls and figuring stuff out.
Sure.
The quarantine does not lend itself to the egg drop.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Your most popular unit, by the way.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do that. Like, do I mail kids eggs? Do I mail them supplies? I'm not saying that that's beyond the realm of possibility.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm happy to do that.
Send every kid $1 to go get a batch of eggs.
Yeah, shoot.
You might literally do that. I'm not even joking. Like, you weren't joking. I'm not joking. That could be a possibility.
No. I realize that this whole thing sounds like a joke. This is a bad joke. 2020 is a bad joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. It's going to look really different. This is also going to be my first year teaching chemistry.
Oh, that's right. You did bio your first year, and then physics, obviously. Physics being your baby, bio being your you have no clue what the anatomy of a human is.
I hate biology. Biology is the worst science. It's the one where everything is named after something in Greek. Like, forget about it. It's too much memorization. I like the mathier stuff.
There you go.
That's why I like chemistry. Chemistry is pretty mathy.
Yeah.
Little too much memorization, but it's pretty mathy.
Yeah.
And I think I'll be able to handle chemistry better than I did biology.
I hope so. Those kids, I feel like you owe those parents and kids an apology from that bio year. I really do.
Well, I feel like those parents and kids owe me an apology because those kids that year, oh my God, that was my first year teaching. They should have been nicer to me.
There you go. Yeah, oh, trust me. The year, that was like the first year where it was like, it's not so bad here. And now we're kind of still recovering from it, but we'll see how it goes. Have you noticed, by the way, we've got, what is it for like as we start to gear up for the beginning of the year? Have you noticed we've got like 18 new staff members? Like I look and it's like, oh, we've got 20 new staff members, and then I look again, it's like we have 22 staff members. Like what? I know we have a lot of turnover, but do we even have any vacancies anymore? This might be the first year without any vacancies.
Yeah, we got a music person. We got a Spanish teacher. We got someone to take over the ELPT coordinator role.
Right, your former partial role, right? I think.
It wasn't a partial role. That was me doing all of it. Oh, you mean like I had one thing and I had another thing? Yeah.
Right, like it's supposed to be dedicated to just that, but you had it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You excited to lose that one?
I don't know.
I struck a chord.
So the thing is, the person who's moving into the role, I'm going to give like the full measure of my attention to helping this person take over because I didn't have that when I did this.
Sure. Yeah, you got thrust into it, and then you were told, figure it out, stupid.
Yeah, but this person has not had any official training on it. They have the certification, but they haven't been through all of the nuancy stuff. And now, since we're doing this remotely, it seems like I've traded one headache for another.
Yeah.
But hopefully, this person will be because they have the correct set of certifications to teach the classes that need to be taught. Whereas because my hell is in science and my certification is ESL. I could only co-teach. I couldn't teach an English class because I don't have an
Right.
English Pell. So, yeah, hopefully with this person's set of certifications, they can do like a more holistic job of getting this right. And I'm gonna do my best to make sure that all of the stumbling around that I did is not necessary.
Right.
Yeah, I was just bouncing off the walls trying to figure out what the hell to do, fix a broken thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think by the end of it, it's like by the time I finally figure some fucking thing out, they give the role to somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say, look at the delegate position, which you are now back into, by the way, as our union delegate.
In the interim.
Well, trust. Let's be honest here. You're going to be in it. I mean, there's only one person that's going to run against you, and we all know no one's voting for that person.
One person will.
True. Good point.
But no, I will hold the election. I think it's the fairest thing to do for me to volunteer to take this position, just because, first of all, I'm the only person in the building who was voted into it before.
Right.
But also, it's going to be less of a transition to like just go through all of the union crap with a brand new person.
Sure.
We have enough on our plates right now that we don't need to start worrying about the delegacy.
Are you at all worried about that, though? Like, you've done it before, so it's obviously there is less of a mystique behind it, but are you worried about making that transition back into the role, or are you excited? Like, you did it before. I only went to the meeting to make sure I wasn't put into the role. But any concerns, or are you like, I got it, it's just another thing?
I got it, it's another thing. I honestly, it's a thing that needs to be done, and it's always been my position that I'm not going to these meetings, or I'm not standing as a representative to speak out my own opinion. I'm here to communicate the opinion of the people who are in my building.
Yeah.
That's always been my thing. I'm not there to stand on my own soapbox. I'm there to stand on yours. So in that thought process and that sort of thinking makes my job really easy because you guys are doing it for me. All I need to do is like occasionally articulate your message and not piss too many people off. I think that's the one thing that I would want in a delegate that I don't have.
What's that?
Our previous delegate, who did a great job, by the way. She
100%.
she took us through the what do you call it? The strike.
Yep. And you got out just before then, by the way. Very smart of you.
Yeah. I was teaching night school. The delegate meetings were on Wednesdays, and night school was on Wednesdays. I couldn't do both.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so I would want, even if I didn't teach night school and I were in your shoes, I would want out. That timed out nicely.
Well, still, she did a great job. She really communicated a lot better than I did my first time as a delegate. And she taught me a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to kind of putting forth a lot of the stuff that she did. But the one thing that I find that I'm not going to be able to do that she did, that person was ready for the fight. That person liked the fight. I don't like the fight. You know what I mean? Like
because you're a pacifist, or just in general you just don't have the energy for it? Or I know what you mean in terms of her demeanor, and in a good way. I mean that.
Yeah.
What do you mean for you though? Like, are you just like, you know what? It's not my forte, or just what do you mean?
Doesn't come naturally to me. I'm more of a like I want to, when presented with a problem, I don't want to fight about it. I want to fix it.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds like.
And a lot of the times, that doesn't escalate the problem to where it needs to be. It doesn't make it vocal. It doesn't make it public. And in a few ways, the delegate position is very much a public position because you're out there standing there, trying to put your face out there, trying to be the face of the collective that you represent. And the fight just isn't in me like that. I don't have that.
Right.
So either I need to develop it, or we need to find someone competent and, not terrifying to take up that mantle.
Sure.
But nervous about it? No, I'm not nervous about it. I'm happy to once again represent my school and hopefully do it respectfully and effectively.
And I say you might be in that role for a while, so I mean, at least you're aware of the potential where it's like, hey, I got this area that I got to work on. But I feel like you would still, if there were ever like a serious need where it's like I got to step up, I feel like you'd be fine, truly.
Okay, write down the date and time that you said that.
I mean, don't hold me to it. Everybody, I didn't vote you in. We'll just go with that. You were interim, and then you took over. You don't accept the results of the election. This sounds something kind of very familiar right now.
Actually, hey, dickhead. 2 years ago, you voted me in.
Yeah, 100% I did.
The people who voted me in the first time.
Well, that was then. This is now, my friend. You're still stuck. I don't want to deal with it. Oh, shit. So we got all these new staff members and stuff like that. So with all these new people in the building, I know I'm taking on this additional role to I have to actually be in their rooms in their digital rooms and then their eventual physical classrooms. Whose soul are you going after? Like, who are you trying to indoctrinate with the Adam way, the ways of Adam, and who are you going to target? Is there anyone in particular that you're like, you know what, I need to insert myself here?
Phrasing, first of all.
You heard me right.
No, I don't seek to indoctrinate anyone to my ways. I think that one of me is more than enough. Probably, way too much.
We could stand to lose a few floral shirts. I'll be honest with you.
Hey, eat a dick, sir. Love my shirts.
I told Kai that. Yeah, it took me a second I had to think about it. But I usually say her last name, but I had to say her first name here. I told her that I was like, you're gonna wind up with floral shirts one day, working under Adam, and she was like, you know what, I would be 100% for the floral shirts. I'm all for it. And I was like, oh Jesus, he's already got her soul.
Oh my goodness, she has actually taught me more than I think I've taught her. She's amazing. I love having her as part of the science department. It's so great.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I think anyone that doesn't, and it's the fact that you're humble to do that. I think if you aren't learning from your students or the people in your department, you're just you have an ego. So I think the fact that you recognize that's important. Because yeah, for sure, the Adam in my department, social studies Adam or history Adam as you called him, Kai in science, for sure we have a lot to learn from them too. Because I mean, you're much older than me, but we've also got a lot to learn from the youngins, the Zoomers.
Just nothing to learn from you.
Oh, 100%. Nothing at all. Which, by the way, they had the weirdest first year. History Adam, he's going to be on either next week or the following. I don't remember which one we said, but his second day as a teacher at our school was the strike. And then his second semester, and this is his first year teaching, mind you. He was hired middle of the year, and then his most of his second semester was remote learning, and now his first full year, it's starting off with remote learning. So both of them really. Kai started before that.
Let's also not forget that History Adam had a baby during that period.
Yeah, 100%. That's oh my god, the stress on that guy. It's going to be interesting. I'm really curious to see his thoughts.
With a really big smile on his face. He has great attitude.
100%. He helped us out with football too over the summer before we got shut down, and he just every day real excited to be there. Just yeah.
Do you have anything to say about that? Do you want to vent a little bit about your football?
Oh, it was a lot of work. We kind of knew we'd be shut down. You know what I mean? But it was mostly it got shut down the moment when we were like, you know what? All these hoops we're jumping through, it's not that bad. We can make this work. And then the moment we're comfortable with it all, then we get shut down. That's basically how it went.
Oh, that's the problem. Dude, hoops are in basketball. Football has the goal.
Jesus Christ. Man, I feel like that might have been a setup for that one. Somehow you knew. If he's going to mention hoops, he's going to have some sort of sports reference. It's going to happen. No,
so Machiavellian with my dad.
Yeah. I was in the building, obviously, during that time. And you know how there were all these cleaning standards and whatnot? I don't know if I might have texted you about this, but there was I don't know if it was really small, probably a dead mouse, on the main stairwell landing. Let's just say I found it on a Tuesday going up to my room to get some things organized. By the following Friday, so almost a business week later, it was still there, but it was just a little bit flat. You know what I mean? It got run over, stepped on by something. I wonder if it's still there, to be honest with you, now that it's a month after that, but that's where we're at.
In my classroom, there's a lot of nooks and crannies. You've got a million different drawers. You've got all the sinks with the sink covers on them like that. I went in, I think, when was this? This was right before summer began. And they had wiped like the top of everything that you could see,
Hmm.
but it took maybe 5 seconds to look behind like the power strip or look in the sink to see candy wrappers that kids had thrown in there
Yeah.
from the year before. And this is like sitting there since we went remote. So this is since March. And I don't know.
Just rubbed you the wrong
I'm
way.
well, uh, it made me want to rub myself in hand sanitizer.
But at the same time, are you surprised that happened at all in any way, shape, or form?
Oh yeah, imagine my shock.
Yeah, 100%. Well, were you
It's,
there when the boiler broke down and we got all moved to the fourth floor? Were you in a room that was you were probably unaffected, right? Because
yeah,
your heating and air, well, not that there's air, it's all from the other building.
correct.
So did you see the rooms that they put like History Adam and myself and a few others? Did you see? I think you
I
helped me
saw
actually.
yours.
Oh
I
my
saw
God.
yours. Yeah, I helped you out with some stuff.
Jesus, what a mess. They're like, yeah, it's ready to
Yeah.
go. Bullshit. Fucking, we were dusting shit. There was a 2x4 with like a 12-inch nail sticking out of it, sticking face up on a desk. How is that ready? Oh,
Oh my goodness.
God,
Yeah.
what a nightmare. Good times, huh?
Yeah. Hey, you know what? That was payback for the time that the window fell down in my office, the pipe burst, and the entire place flooded.
I guess it's a good time to come clean. That was me. I did rig it to blow. That was really bad too. I remember you were out of that room for where did they put you, by the way?
They put me in actually the previous ESL person's room on the third floor.
Down the hall in that like the corner of the eye, essentially. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
how'd that go? Because I remember for us when I was getting ready, it like bare bones lesson plans because we got like less than 24 hours notice. How did it go for you though? With you had even less than 24 hours notice about that.
No, I walked in and there it was. And, uh, well, the thing that I generally lean on, if something goes catastrophically wrong,
Which it will.
if for some reason, yes, of course, it often will. If something goes catastrophically wrong, it's always easy to grab your Chromebooks and do something literacy related. So Newsy LA, get an article, annotate, triangle, circle, square.
I'm just waiting for some sort of knock on social studies, like reflective piece, like something like that. I'm waiting for it. You're notorious.
Why wait for it? You just did it.
I mean,
I
hey,
set them up, you knock them down. Self-hating social studies teacher. Very well done.
I mean, let's be honest. What's my like shtick? It's like kind, realistic optipessimism. Optipessimism is probably my. I'm like right. I'm very balanced. Like last week, I was talking about I found on like Samsung Smart TV internet channels or whatever. There's a Gordon Ramsay channel and there's also a Bob Ross channel. That's keeping me balanced. I'm right in between that sweet spot of like, you fucking asshole, and there are no mistakes here. Just happy little accidents. I'm right there, right at the happy medium. That's where I'm at.
Just out of curiosity, do your Patreon people pay you more money every time you do an accent or an impression of someone?
Yeah, there's a 15% bump every single time there's an accent. Do I do them that often? I'm trying to think back. How many? I think
you've done 3. This
did I really? Wait. There was Gordon Ramsay. What were the other 2?
So you did a Bob Ross.
Was that an accent though, or is that just ASMR?
No, I think that was you trying to pretend to be Bob Ross.
In the first one. What was in the beginning of the episode? Shit.
Yeah, there was one of those.
What was it? Oh, God damn it.
Seinfeld.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. I think that's pretty good. It sounds good in my headphones. I don't know about yours. It's probably terrible. Only one way to know.
I have really good headphones. And
yeah,
we'll just leave it at that.
I'm sure you do. Man using his document camera microphone right now. What's going on with the phone? Did you drop it in like water? What happened?
No. I think one of the stupid Samsung updates screwed something up where it's disabled the voice microphone for standard calls, but it's enabled the voice microphone for what do you call it? Speakerphone calls.
Interesting. That's the update you'd want, right? 100%. Does that mean you're going to become an iPhone person at this point? Or Apple person, whatever you call it?
No, no, no. I like my things to do things that I want them to do, and not the things that the things want to do.
The most anti-Apple yet also saying nothing sentence I think I've ever heard, but accurate at the same time. So I commend you for that one. That's pretty good.
What about yourself? What are you looking at for the remote learning starting the year? I mean, I'm not sure exactly how your classroom works with a lot of group work and group projects, but I assume that you do quite a few.
Oh yeah. I mean, look at my table setup. The honeycombs. That's
Yeah.
basically a circle.
So how are you transitioning?
Oh God. I mean, for remote learning, I legitimately the entire time we did remote learning for the spring semester, 6 total mini projects. That's it. 6 for like what was it, 2.5 months or whatever.
Yeah.
And if it were a regular school year, by the way, we would do that in a week and a half to 2 weeks max. So like we really went bare bones, and still pretty low engagement. But I honestly, I'm gonna at some point either tomorrow or the week of PD, like I'll get a Chromebook or something in my classroom. I'm just gonna lay out all my physical materials and have like a couple of Chromebooks with my digital materials and just find a way to convert it. But I honestly don't know because like you said, if you're doing an egg job with a partner or something like that, it's really hard to sit across a table and work a collaboration and the whole Google Meet thing. Like there's kind of a way to do breakout groups, but also kind of not. And there's so many. It's the most anxiety I've had in a while about teaching. And I include the time that I didn't know what I was going to do the day before the first day of school, like last year, whatever it was, where I was like, we'll just kind of keep the fundamentals going. I feel like I'm a first year teacher at this point. Like I know what my scope and sequence is. I just don't necessarily know the best and most engaging, but also like changing it up way to do it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I know I'm good with technology, but that's that only goes so far.
And like you can't really use the end of the semester last year to last school year
right.
to like think, oh, now we're used to this, we're ready for this because we started this. This is completely different. CPS has given us a completely different set of guidelines.
Right.
And we don't even know how that's been articulated to our admin yet. Like what the admin is going to require of us, like what kind of screen time, what kind of engagement. Now we have to take attendance now. We have to take daily attendance.
Ugh.
And our grading policy was updated so that part of our grades have to be participation and engagement. They got rid of the homework requirement and replaced it with participation and engagement.
Interesting. I mean, so, I'm all for that, to be honest with you, because I don't like the homework requirement, but I that's a lot to keep track of suddenly.
Yeah, well, it's not so much a work thing. It's thinking about last year, at the end of the year. What was our engagement like? How many kids were you getting in your Google Meets?
Oh, it was brutal. And we have to have synchronous, too. So, like, when I would just hold them for office hours, we're talking 5 or less.
Yeah, my class was at 8 a.m. I got maybe 2 kids a week.
Were they your high-performing kids anyway? Like the kids that would be there anyway? And like probably didn't need as much?
It was a little bizarre. Kids you wouldn't think.
Oh, well, that's encouraging, I guess. Of course, that's a small sample size, but that's encouraging.
Mm-hmm. People at home are different than they are when they're at school. I think that is the thing that teachers and students and parents are learning the most, that kids at home are different than they are at school. Yeah. They're different on their own than they are in a group setting.
Right.
Sometimes that's better, sometimes that's worse, but it's different. And there's no way to predict the way that our student body is going to act and react this coming year. I'm right there with you. I'm equally terrified, but also now on my 5th beer, so fine. That's
5th Budweiser too, so that makes it like, ugh, you're really a trooper. That's what I'm trying to get at. Which I noticed too. I have some kids because like now I'm entering year 4 too. So I'm getting like another round of kids that failed it the first time around because I barely saw them, or maybe they were explosive because of their personality.
Mhm.
And the good thing is, I know I have one in particular. You probably know her very well because she was also very explosive for you. But I've got her for first semester only, and potentially. I mean, I know for sure up till November we are digital, and I have a very strong feeling that all of semester one will be digital. And I feel like she's going to do very well digitally. I feel like that's where she thrives, where it's for sure one-to-one time and kind of self-paced, but also kind of not with some support. I feel like she's going to do well. I hope.
If it's the person that you're talking about, I had her for the second semester. Are we talking about the same person?
I'll bleep it. I'll bleep it.
Yep.
Yeah. She had great moments, don't get me wrong, where she was a rock star, but when she decided today's a bad day, today was a bad day.
Yeah. But with the sort of self-paced sort of thing that I was rocking last semester, she ended up, I think, with an A in the class for second semester physics.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me. She's highly into. She honestly, like, not that it's gonna impact the way I treat other students. She is one of my favorite kids to interact with because, well, one, you don't know what you're gonna get, but two, it's that much more rewarding when things go well. You know what I mean?
It's like one of those boxes of Harry Potter jelly beans. Whether you don't know you're going to get a cinnamon one or one that tastes like it's not.
I'll be sure to tell her. I'll be like, hey, Harry Potter jelly beans. She'll be like, what the fuck did you just call me? I'll be like, don't worry about it.
You can see it on her face, too.
Yeah.
When she's getting ready.
She's very readable. Which I appreciate. At least I can see it coming. We've got plenty of kids that you're like, where the fuck did that come from? But yeah, 100%.
No, she's great.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah. Well, I guess we'll see where this is. For those of you listening, this is the a few days before our digital PD days that Adam and I are gearing up for, and other teachers, of course, in the district of CPS. Everybody else, for the most part, has started, which is wild. But I guess we'll see how it goes, and we'll do the best we can. But I appreciate you being on and just having a nice little anxiety jam session, I guess you could call it, a dish session, or whatever we would want to call it.
Hey, I'm happy to be here in my house where I've been for a very long time.
I'm telling you, I mean, you're 4 beers deep. You already fit like all the boxes of requirements for if I wanted a co-host. It's just a matter of the logistics of it. But
this is 6 now, by the way.
Nice, dude. Nice. I mean, the bottle is done, but I don't think a bottle of Moscato, I don't think that is the equivalent to 6 beers. So you're killing the game, man. Jesus Christ. Should that be the outro? We'll end it with that one.
Hey, you're welcome to it. That was a gift for you.
Well, everybody that's listening, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new to the podcast, we've got plenty of other episodes in the past. You can also check out Adam on previous episodes. What would we say, 2 or 3 that you've been on in the past? Something like that?
Who cares?
I mean, yeah, skip his. Listen to all of them except for his. We do have video episodes, other behind-the-scenes content, as well as bonus episodes and podcast merch, which reminds me, Adam, I'll have to give you a koozie and a shot glass as a little thank you for being on. Oh, trust me, you're going to love them. And if you also, the listeners, would like it.
It's like a threat.
It's a threat.
No, you're going to fucking love them.
Only partially. It's like that meme where it's like, stay hydrated. This is a threat. That's where we're at right now. Stay hydrated with your beer, though. But if you guys, the listener, would like some podcast merch for Classroom Brew, head on over to patreon.com/classroombrew. All that bonus content and the merch. And you can also get some voting power so you can have some say in what happens on the podcast. That includes if you want to vote Adam off or make him a co-host, whatever it may be. You decide. It's up to you. I don't vote. You guys vote. It's a democracy. But reach me. If you want to be on the show just like Adam was, you can reach me at Classroom Brew on social media or classroombrew@gmail.com. And that's about all I got. I'm trying to minimize the plugs, but also make sure I check off all the boxes. How nauseated are you from hearing all that?
Well, I'm not nauseated, but I did make sure to bring extra beer for the half-hour outro. So,
yeah. Dude, it does seem like it's getting longer, but I feel like I'm so good at it, I might sound robotic or corporate. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see in the editing process. I'll just have you edit it,
man. Suck that dick.
Jesus Christ. Well, Adam, thanks so much for being on. We'll talk all the time, but appreciate you being on.
Oh, my pleasure.
And everybody else that's listening, thanks so much for tuning in. And until next week, do you remember the outro? Let's see if you know it.
I don't fucking remember. I don't listen to your podcast, dude.
You shouldn't. That'd be weird if you did. That'd be really weird if you did. In all honesty. No, but until next week, guys, thanks so much for listening, and class dismissed.